Welcome back, Wavesa, and today I figured we would take a look at, well, my humble opinion and thoughts on how the crisis suits have been done this edition. Were we done dirty? Was it the best thing that ever happened to us? Feel free to just stick around and hear my thoughts and give me your feedback on what you think on the matter. So pretty much the crisis suits went from being one unit, or prior editions they were two units, the crisis suits and the crisis suit bodyguards. And then coming into this edition they were synthesized down to one unit of simply the crisis suits because they were bodyguards. They would be led by one of the commander units, whether it be the Cold Star, the Enforcer, the Crisis, or even Commander Farsight. But now we have re-expanded the range once more and gotten three suits that can be led by the commanders or just stand out on their own. And to be completely honest, I am not the most happy about it. For the majority of my feelings are, to be honest, sad. This means that we have to tear up all the different crisis suit configurations that we had that are no longer allowed. We're forced to having only burst cannons and flamers to a suit, or missile pods and plasma rifles to a suit, or just fusion blasters. And for everyone who had cyclic ion blasters glued onto their guys, you have to rip those suckers off, and it's just not cool. I'm not a fan of that. It's really sad. And the worst part about it is you can't even use all of your cyclic ion blasters. If you had a three-man crisis suit squad with cyclic ion blasters, and then a commander leading them with cyclic ion blasters, or well, scrap that, just a three-man cyclic ion blaster crisis suit squad, each with three, that's 9 cyclic ion blasters. You can't even have that many in an army anymore because you're limited to one cyclic ion blaster per commander, and you have two commanders and you can take 3 of each. That's 6. You get 6 cyclic ion blasters in total to your army if you wanted to do something like that. So the most optimized loadout is now just not even legal, which is pretty depressing. And we used to be able to pack them with 3 weapons, but now we're down to 2, which really is going to take a hit to their damage output. So it's kind of lame that we had to do all this. We lost a big boost in their durability with the shield gen getting dropped, and we didn't even get to pick up Iridium armor from prior editions when they had a 2-up save on one of their, for every 1 in 3 models in the unit. And speaking of 1 in 3 models in a unit, the suit squads are down to a maximum of 3. You can only take 3 suits per squad, no more taking 9 back in 8th edition, and a little bit in 9th edition, and no more taking 6. It's down to 3 per squad, which is okay. It's not the worst, but it makes me sad I can't run my big old brick of crisis suits up field anymore. But there are some benefits to not being able to take all of them. This is where I'm a little bit happy. We can take more suits. We can take a total of 27 crisis suits now. You got 3 to a squad, and because there are different data sheets now, you can take 3 of each type of data sheet, and then you can take 3 data sheets by that. It's 3 cubed, 3 times 3 times 3, which means 27 crisis suits in total. So that is pretty dang good. And not to mention, we get some very much nicely needed specialization for each suit that gives them a buff for going into the targets that they're pursuing. So it's all pretty dang hype. Because we need this specialization, like a extra buff, instead of generally having, like, it's nice that they're a Swiss Army knife, but now you can buy the kit, build them however you want, and then also have the ability to take multiple of each different style and not feel handicapped that you won't be able to take as many as you would like, or that you can only really run them in the cyclic ion blaster route. The diversity and ability for you to do things with them is just greatly increased. And so let's just take a quick look at the new suits. Like, they all got the same stat lines, you know the drill, T5, 3-up save, move 10 inches, etc., etc. All that fun jazz. But we're going to start with the Star Scythe because, love my anti-infantry, and they're really good for close-up damage on infantry. They get the extra armor penetration against things that aren't vehicles and monsters. It's great, and not to mention, they have the fallback and shoot war gear, which is phenomenal because that's what they need. They're going to be up close and personal. They're most likely going to charge. You're going to want to be able to have them fall back and still shoot at the enemy. I know we're vehicles. We can shoot into combat or outside of combat, but still, this is definitely good. So, not all bad. Sunforge, really good at killing tanks. Rerolls to wound and damage, which is amazing, rerolling damage, against vehicles and monsters. Phenomenal. They're the ones that 100% need the invuln. I don't see any reason why they should have one of the other two buffs, because they're all about getting rid of the anti-tank, and they are fairly tough and tanky, so you would want them to have to tank more damage, and having a 4-up invuln is precisely what you need to help them stick around on the board longer. Then after that, you got the Fire Knife, and they're good elite killers. You get full rerolls if the unit's at full strength, or only rerolls 1 if they're not at full strength. Phenomenal stuff. They're good for sitting back far away, and they get the war gear that best helps them, which is ignoring any modifiers to hit. You're launching them into a big elite unit, and somehow your opponent can make a -1 to hit at range. Screw that, you get to ignore it. You also get to ignore if they end up getting tied up. In close quarters combat, they can ignore any or all modifiers to hit, so they're going to be hitting on 4s in close combat, 3s if they're guided, and they will always be re-rolling their 1s because that's the rule, and I doubt they'll be tied up by too many vehicles or monsters, so pretty good stuff there. Overall, I think a lot of good came out of it. I think the rules overall are good. But I am a little sad that, a lot of people's weapons loadout and just all around was kind of just a screw you to a lot of people of how they had the most optimized list going forward. But I like that I'm going to be able to pack a lot more crisis suits into my lists from now on. And I also like that they made the Enforcer a viable unit again, instead of just having the Cold Star be an auto pick all the time. The Enforcer is a phenomenal pick now, because you have 2 units that can't take shield generators, and they need that extra durability boost. So how are you going to give it to them? You're going to give them a guy that reduces any incoming armor penetration by 1. It's phenomenal. It'll be great. And the Cold Star is really just good for the Sunforged and Star Scythe, zipping them up the board to get close into range of their guns. And the Enforcer can hang back with Fire Knife. Similarly, Farsight can join up with Star Scythe and Sunforge, giving you that extra anti-tank boost or that extra completely decimating of infantry and even elite infantry if you are in the Retaliation Cadre detachment with the extra armor penetration up close and personal. All really good and impressive things. So sure, yes, it is disappointing that the rules completely got thrown out the window and we got something entirely new, but it's nice. I think the new things that we got are going to be very fruitful for us, and we're going to be able to have a lot of fun that comes out of it. And I must apologize for everybody that had magnetized any of their guys, because that must have been a complete pain to have to deal with tearing them apart. Or you could just say, hey, this is what they're stand-ins for, and hopefully whoever you're playing against is nice enough to let that be and just let you have a good time and enjoy the game. Anyways, I would like to have the Iridium armor back if I were to have something added in, like maybe one suit gets a 2-up save. That would be great. It would really make the Enforcer Commander's ability pretty dang good, up the durability of our guys, because we didn't get the toughness buff like everybody else did, and we only got an extra wound. We got 5 wounds now max that we can take, because you can only take 1 of each type of drone. So it's that and the assault, and the gun drone for assault, or the marker light drone, if you think they'd be helping guide for some reason or other, which they probably never will. So the loadout from now on is going to be the gun drone and the shield drone, getting you the extra wound and getting you, per squad, 6 extra shots of strength 5, no AP, twin linked, which is actually going to be pretty good if you put them on the Star Scythe guys, because they will be getting the extra armor penetration against everything that isn't a vehicle or a monster. So that would actually be pretty dang good, making gun drones lethal. Impressive stuff. Anyways, I digress. I'm going off on tangents now. Let me know what you think of the new suits down in the comments below. I think they're fairly good now. I'd say they're a bit more worth it than just the Cyclic Ion Blaster spam. I like that, but I'm still kind of miffed that GW gave us Cyclic Ion Blasters wholesale and then just completely kneecapped it out from underneath us at the last second. So a little bit disappointing, feeling a little bit shafted, but I think it's overall good for us. It's a bit more feel-good instead of just Crisis Suits being a Cyclic Ion Blasters platform. They're more than that. They're supposed to be a Swiss Army knife. This allows them to be that Swiss Army knife. Anyways, I would like to thank my patrons, the new Vivek, Samger, Ryan Hall, David Polilio, K-Mag, Jonathan Patino, Chris F., Mark, Magnus Thorody, and created by Philip. Thank you all very much for keeping the lights on out here. I appreciate it greatly. And as soon as I'm done with finals, we will be getting battle reports and more consistent videos out for you in the future. And I've got a big plan. We're going to do a narrative campaign for one of the battle reports. It's going to be hype. We'll be hosting a live stream where we'll be having people put input on what you want the composition of the Army/Elite Strike team to be for the narrative report. Thank you all very much. Let me know what you think. You would want the narrative report to be down in the comments below. who you want the enemy to be, what you think the squad composition or army composition should be, and if there's anything you'd like in contributing to the story, feel free. Patrons get first dibs on all contributions, though, FYI. So if you're interested in doing that, feel free to become a patron or YouTube member. Anyways, thank you all very much. I hope your day goes for the greater good, and God bless.